low floor units in One Bernam.
Can your voice a bit soft? I cannot really hear very clearly.
Oh, okay. I speak louder.
Yeah.
This is the max really.
Oh, okay. Then your voice must be louder.
Okay. Better?
Yep.
Do I need to share the screen or just?
Just share the screen first.
Okay.
Because then we know what's the question.
Okay, you can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so the third question is prices are only attractive for low floor units only.
So that means this question here is that, right, as a buyer, you see, one of the biggest problem I realize a lot of agents fail to do closing is what? They fail to do closing because they always push the prices. The price is starting from this price, right? So, and the customer come in to buy these 5 projects. Their problem here is that they want to buy for own stay, they also want to buy for investment. So when they want to buy for own stay, I expect the high floor to be 2,002 per square foot. But the high floor is at 2,005 per square foot. Even they get an earlier Q number, they also don't buy. Because why? Because they expect 2,002 for high floor unit. Then they want to pay 2,002 for high floor unit. So that's why eventually even the number 1 Q also won't buy. Because their mindset is what? It's wrong. Because they keep in their mindset of what? I want to buy investment, I also want to buy, say, who don't want to IP, right? So eventually they can never close a deal. So this is another problem here. So another issue here is that, right, how to handle objection. For example, today the buyer said, hey, how, Vanessa, if I want to buy something that owns for investment, should I get low floor or should I get high floor? What if the low floor unit don't have, then how?
Oh, okay. My turn now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always will see their budget first. If let's say the high floor unit for the smaller sizes, right, it's almost equivalent to the bigger unit, which is almost the same quantum. Then I would ask them to push for the bigger size unit eventually.
What do you mean by that?
Why is that so? If let's say, for example, if let's say 1.5 million, for example, the budget, okay? But let's say you pay for another 200,000, but you can actually get another bidder, you know? Yeah.
So maybe Vanessa, can you speak a bit louder? I think really a bit soft.
Oh, okay.
I think not only me. I think a lot of people are facing the same problem.
Oh. Is it better now?
Yeah, but I think you must near to your laptop.
Okay, can.
Is it a earpiece or what?
Is it better?
Oh, yeah, better.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, so much better.
Okay, thank you, boss.
Yeah. So quickly, can I ask you one thing? This objection that you put up, what is the objective behind it? This objection not very clear.
Yeah, I'm also not very sure.
Okay, let me just jump in. So the common mentality is buyer just only want to find cheap units, and they always compare that the lower floor are the attractive units and they are already sold. So what makes the higher floor desirable? So I think that is the common objections.
So Vanessa, if I cannot manage to get a low floor unit, is it still worthwhile to buy high floor unit? I think this question is this way handled better. Can we change the question? Bevan or Colin, help me to tweak the question about you.
Got it, can.
I think this is better way. I think a lot of agents having a problem here is that what if the lower floor unit is not there anymore? Is it still worthwhile to buy a high floor unit? Why is it worthwhile to buy a high floor unit? Vanessa.
Okay. First of all, I will actually say, Mr. Buyer, let's say per floor jump is how much? You see, because we are in the CBD, if let's say the per floor jump is like within $10,000.
Always remember, Vanessa.
Okay.
What is the word called A? Start with A.
Acknowledge. Yes, Mr. Buyer, I understand your concern here. So basically for lower floor unit.
Concern is what?
Your concern is that if all those lower floor units are no longer available, is it still worth getting those higher floor units, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay, so Okay, Mr. Buyer, you see, because that is why a lot of people, despite the queue, they still want to take part in the balloting. That's the reason why, because everybody will have equal chance to buy, and choose the unit they want. But let's say if you do miss out on the balloting process, but there are still good buy out there for higher floor. Say for example, if let's say the developer haven't adjust the pricing yet, and the per floor jump is not that much, and if let's say for higher floor you can get a better facing or better view, then it is it's worth look into it. Why is that so? Because ultimately, right, next time even when you rent or when you sell, you will always can ask for a higher price because of the lower pricing that help to push up your unit eventually. I always believe that, for higher floor, people will think that, of course, higher floor will demand higher prices. So eventually, if let's say you buy higher floor, so subsequently, when you exceed that time, you will always demand for higher price. Correct, Mr. Buyer? And also, I think tenant also willing to pay better if let's say, for lower floor and higher floor, right? Same size, and then they ask for higher rental. I believe that for those who appreciate a better view, higher floor, I got such tenants actually. They always go for higher floor first if there is available. If let's say the price is not much different, they're always willing to pay higher for that reason. So isn't that benefit you in the long run? Because if let's say just by $100 difference.
You see, Vanessa, the problem here is that whatever you say is based on words.
Okay.
Right? So based on words wise, how do we quantify the numbers? How do we determine the numbers? Whether is it justifiable or not justifiable? Is there an example for us to look at it that there's some statistics to show me that actually people who buy high floor, right, actually make more than the lower floor?
Oh, yeah, of course. Because what you know that for developer, right, they always stage the prices. Let's say when they have reached 30%, right, when you now buy the higher floor, let's say for example, but then by the time they adjust the pricing, you will have eventually make that difference already compared to the lower floor units.
As I mentioned to you, Vanessa, you are using words to describe it. I want to see numbers to describe to me, because words cannot tell me anything. So how do you let me know whether does it make sense or not? Is there any justification or proof that I buy high floor actually make more money?
Okay, so sorry, because for this presentation I really didn't prepare for this answer, because we thought that what are the available low floor attractive prices. So I only prepare one Bernam guide prices. But I will prepare this to support on this, for higher floor, they actually have a better appreciation in future.
Okay, so what do you mean that so you are trying to tell me that you are using another thing to justify that low floor unit is still worthwhile? Prices are only applicable for low floor unit.
High floor units.
So what? Okay, you tell me what you have.
Okay. This is what I have now. Can you see my screen? Sorry, Mr. Buyer.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so you see, actually for one Bernam, right, the best part is that we actually start from level 5, and ours is 40 meter above ground. So basically our level 5 is as good as level 12 onwards. So you can see that even for like 14th floor, our PSF is very, very attractive. 2465 compared to level 10. Can you see that? Actually 14th floor is so much cheaper than level 10.
Which 14 floor? 1402
1402 and 1007. Yep. Different facing. Yeah. So it's almost the same PSF.
So what does it mean?
So for such reason, right, I will normally ask a customer to choose higher floor for that particular reason. Because since you are buying almost the same PSF, right? For higher floor, might as well go for the higher floor. If there is still available.
Then what's the lower floor pricing?
For lower floor, we have like 0506, for example, it's actually 2333. Okay, that's not a good comparison, but perhaps we take 0511. So 0511, the PSF is actually 2426. It's so much lower, you know, and yet you are paying almost the same PSF here. So, Mr. Buyer, you think that if you are paying by about the same PSF, will you go for the higher floor instead? Because why? Because eventually, right, when developers start selling, right, they will slowly adjust the pricing, and per floor jump, it could be much higher than the current one. So normally people will, like, you know, if that's within the budget, they will try to go for the higher floor first.
But that's what you say, man. Right? So if you see, if let's say, for example, Vanessa, if let's say, for example, I take what you are talking about, right? Then, let's say, for example, our agents here, what's the problem? They may not be confident to just to talk. Because they will feel that it's not confident enough to justify that I can actually still buy a higher floor unit. Because the price differences is about $200. When you look at 0501 and 1007, of course it's different phasing, right? Of course phasing also makes a lot of difference in terms of prices. But how do you justify in a sense? Like for example today, because I do not know the stack number, the phase one, phase this, I do not know very well, right? So, but the most important here is what? How do you justify that today it's worthwhile to buy a high floor unit if the low floor unit is gone? That's what that's what your question is. I thought that's how it's being done. Bevan, is it correct? Pauline?
Yes, it is.
Huh?
Yes.
Bevan?
Yeah, it's me, Bevan.
What do you think?
Yeah, this is what we want to address now.
Address what?
Is high floor still worth buying when the low floors are already taken up?
So how do you address?
Okay, for me, okay, maybe Vanessa, can I just give it a try?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Kelvin, can I say that, every buyer, eventually, you also want to find a good exit spot for this property that you purchase.
Exit spot?
Yeah, exit strategy, the price that you want to exit, a good selling price.
But just now you're saying that the question here is that, right, the objection that you're talking about, but actually you still have low floor unit available for sale. Is this still available for sale or what?
Yeah, whatever you see down here, the price gap is all available. The lowest available entry price.
So since we still have low floor units, do we need to address this question? Or is it eventually?
What do you think?
Personally, I feel that we don't need to address this question because since there are still so many choices, unless they die want to buy the one bedroom, Because right now, the one bedroom, we only left with high floor. So they will use that
So
as a
your
comparison.
question, you want to really sell a high floor unit. I think very important. You must prepare yourself to show that actually people who can take. You see, we are talking about now the timing, right? So the timing is it the right timing to buy? So if it's the right timing to buy, right, is it worth to buy a high floor or low floor unit? When the market is up and down at that point of time, right, would a high floor unit with a better facing has a better jump compared to lower floor, Mr. Buyer?
Yes,
See,
definitely.
I do not know because you all must be very clear in your mind. So if you are very clear in your mind, right, then you will know, right, how to handle the objection here. So the next thing here is that, right, is there a justification for you to tell me that another development or other developments, actually high floor at the good timing they buy in, actually is more worthwhile. Actually at a good timing, actually people buy high floor unit compared to the low floor, actually the jump is not a lot. But they took a high floor unit. Can you imagine? For example, today a second floor unit was transacted at 2,001 square foot. And because at that timing the market on the 10th floor was only transacted at 2250 per square foot. 2250. But because the market was so good, the developer pushed up the third floor or the fourth floor unit to 26 per square foot. So isn't it that one on the higher floor, right, will actually go higher in price next time to sell?
Yes.
So is there a statistic on this?
Currently, if I take a look in terms of square foot and nearby vicinity pricing, we could probably compare Icon in terms of the profit margin, that a lot of higher profit margin comes from the higher levels.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here is that, right, do you have this justification? Because to answer this question, because now if let's say, for example, you see the rest of the people, why I ask this question here is because very important to those who are listening. Because on the higher floor unit, if let's say, for example, your customer wants to buy, especially come to balloting and comes to all these new launches, you all miss transaction because you did not know how to manage the high floor, you lose, But if you have justification that, right, wow, actually high floor unit, because the jump is not high yet, right, actually the high floor unit is more worthwhile to get, maybe a more worthwhile to go for higher floor than the lower floor. Because most agents tend to push lower floor. Generally, then all jam at the bottom part. Then once the bottom all cleared, right, those people cannot get a lower floor one, what happened? All go home. So now we must make them feel that, right, when the right timing comes, high floor is more worthwhile than to buy the low floor. So you must look at the margin gap, the differences, the differences. But you need to substantiate that, is it true or not? Buy high floor can actually make more. Then you'll be useful in a sense.
Okay.
If not, then this justification and your objection, right, may not sound logical by showing me this whole thing here. So this is the concern that I have over here.
Okay. Noted.
I think one of the example that you can see here is Martin Modern. Another example that you can see is Seaside Residences, I believe have. But need to look at default to look at the numbers. I do not know Icon have or not. Must go and see. Must go and see Aptex as well, maybe. I'm not so
Icon
sure.
quite a lot, over 1 million profit margin for 30th floor, 40th floor.
Because they launch at time, right? Sometimes they launch a higher floor but at a lower price. So all these are important justification, right, for all of us to push a high floor unit. So that's why I want you all to go and prepare this, right? So that we have more justification to push to our people next time, right? So that we know how to handle it. Okay.
Got it.
Can we look at another case study instead of this?
you mean another questions?
Yep.
Okay. We come to the fourth objections. That will be too big quantum as compared to other CCR projects for one Bernam, which I think is not true actually. Although one Bernam sizes are.
Wait, Vanessa, let me ask you a question. All right, so to those people here, right, I would like to draw this attention to all of you here. Now, Vanessa, I want to ask you a question. Is it true? I mean, for one Bernam, right, or maybe this project, is quantum a very important aspect when it comes to buying a property? Is it sensitive? Because why? And my only concern here is that if I buy something of a higher quantum, right, next time, is it easy for me to exit?
Mr. Buyer, I understand your concern on having a bigger quantum. Next time is much harder to sell. You mean on this one?
Yep.
Yeah, but then you see, actually because of one Bernam, the size is slightly bigger as compared to the newer launches here. That's why we don't look at the quantum. We look at the PSF. Because why? In view of COVID nowadays, people prefer a much bigger space and sizes because we wouldn't know when COVID will end, and then they would have to work from home, and because of that, space is very, very precious, and paying for that low PSF in a CBD area is actually worth thinking of instead of being so-called compared to as a quantum, because a lot of other projects, although they are lower quantum, but actually they are also much smaller in terms of size, you see. So I believe that for CBD area, a lot of people are more affluent, and I think they will appreciate the size and the space that comes along. Although I do agree that for bigger quantum, not many people can really afford to get a bigger size unit.
Not many people can afford to what?
Okay, sorry. I cannot change my statement. So what I'm trying to say is, Mr. Buyer, I believe that in CBD, right, we have a different target kind of a customer that will buy in CBD rather than in mass market. If they're talking about quantum gain.
What do you mean by that?
Let's say for example, Warwick. Okay, Warwick, two-bedder, minimally you have to pay 3.5 million. But in one Bernam for a two-bedder, you can actually get a two-bedder at 1.7, which is less than $2 million. So if let's say for those people who appreciate and wanted to be in CBD, they are much willing to pay for that to stay here. Correct? Because these are the different tier of clientele, I must say, that who is willing to pay such prices to be here.
So my question here is that, right, how do you handle these objections? The way you handle the objection here is that does it relate to the objection part? See, the way I hear this, I'm not so sure the rest of the people here, all right? The rest of the people, I need your comments. I need you to tell us how you feel about this. From Vanessa's point of presentation here, right? Does she also think that the quantum is difficult to sell next time? Because Vanessa, I feel it that the way you present it, right, seems like there is a problem in selling. Because why? Because you say that, right, over here it's not about quantum. That's why we need to look at per square foot. But you never address the concern of the quantum, but you go and address the dollar per square foot, which are not related at all. Because why? Because your subconscious also think that the quantum is a hindrance to you. That's why you jam yourself. So when you jam yourself, you quickly switch your focus to what? Dollar per square foot. So that you can cushion off the whole thing to make it easy for you to sell. But you never address the problem. The problem is still the quantum. So you try to, but to me, I may not see it. You have not expressed the advantage of why the developer want to make such a big quantum. Obviously, in today's market, which developer don't want to make small unit and sell, Mr. Buyer? Honestly, every developer knows very well, I can tell you, the best thing to do is to build small units so that I can easily sell it away. But Mr. Buyer, why is it that the developer at this point of time do not want to create small unit? Rather they get a big unit. Mr. Buyer, what do you think? You see, as a developer, they are so stupid to do this. Because why? When they do this, they lose out even more. They worry some more. But why do they want to do that? Have you think about it, Mr. Buyer? Seriously, if you put your mind into it, why the developer purposely want to make bigger unit? I can only say one thing, Mr. Buyer. If you are far-sighted enough, if you put things in the right perspective in today's market, this particular COVID has bring us to a very important lesson. Size do matters. Because everyone is actually working from home now. So the developer is looking at future, where all the offices eventually will become redundant. They want to build, you see, nowadays the office, they try to stream down, the sizes. Why? Because they realize one thing. Today, I'm talking to 500 people. I don't need to go and rent a place for $10,000 just to run a trading. I use a Zoom session here. I can speak to 500, 1,000 people. So, isn't it space is one of the biggest concerns? Very important, Mr. Buyer. You want to buy something. Next time, is it important to exit? You want to sell to someone that next time, right, who feels that, right, especially we are talking a CBD area, where a lot of offices are. Can you imagine the office size shrink down and they tell the people, hey, now my offices will go smaller, and what you need to do here is to make sure you have a big space so that you can have what? Your meeting, your Zoom, your whatever within your own house. And that's what they want. And they save a lot of money because why? Grade A office in CBD is very costly. So why would they want to spend that kind of money? They don't want. So this developer, they are looking at what? The long-term perspective. They want to make sure what? Next time you want to sell, can easily sell to anybody who's buying for wholesale. Buy for wholesale or buy for investment, no problem. Because why? The space. Hey, you realize that or not? Today, the resale market, the 1 and 2 bedroom, slower in moving. The 3 bedroom moving very fast. Why? Price. Everybody needs space. And the best thing is when you look at the whole of this area, most of them are small units. That's why it's called what? Supply and demand. There's not many small, big units around. That's why it makes this place what? Unique. You don't focus on things that is negative. You focus on things that is positive. So that in the future, right, it's easy. Hey, can you imagine that the best thing is what? Hey, today the per square foot is so much lower compared to what? To others. Even the resale unit today already transacted 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004 per square foot. Some even 2005 per square foot. No. For example, Sky Street, 2005, 2006 for smaller unit per square foot is higher as well. Right? Today, you get something what? A lower per square foot and a bigger in sizes. Isn't it, this is the advantage for people who wants to buy. This developer, my friend, I only want to tell you one thing. They are looking at the future, how things can change because of COVID. They are selling you based on what the future demand is. This is what I look at it. So you don't see it as negative, you see it as what? Positive. So this is how I feel. You see, at the end of the day, the developer already have made such kind of sizes, right? Whether you like it or don't like it, this is how it works. But people who believe in it will eventually still buy one. Because One Shenton also this kind of prices, they are selling, right? It's just that the PSF is lower, but their sizes are big, right? So this is something that you can actually talk about it if you really want to compare about quantum, right? I think this is another way to look at it. I mean, this is my opinion. But I just feel that the quantum make you feel very not comfortable.
Not just the quantum. Actually, I did serve quite a number of walk-ins here, but it's rather the layout.
Layout. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I based on quantum now. I do not know about layout.
Okay.
I based on your objection to handle. I never based on your layout to handle. But more important is they are willing to pay. That's more important.
Yeah, they're willing to pay.
Because that see a lot of our own agents are they also have this concept. Quantum a bit high. Actually, the quantum is not high. Is you think it's high because you are used to selling low quantum. Now you sell high quantum, you all long jam, right? Actually, there's no difference. People who can pay 1.5 million, 1.6 million dollars to buy a mass market product, why they cannot buy a CBD product? There's no logic, right? Definitely, you can. It's about how do we handle the objection, and you must be confident. For example, how do you handle this? Hey, do you know one thing or not? Melissa, go and look at Beacon and Cantonment Road. Why do I want you to see this? This is the project that I sell the most. Because this one, the size is bigger. The per square foot is lower. Morning sun, afternoon sun, Nong Zhong Wu, Tanjong Pagar Road, the most noisiest road. Right? But most of them make the most money. You know why? For a bigger size unit, right? For every $100 jump in PSF, the price jump by 100,000. A smaller unit, right? For every $100 jump, they jump by 40,000. So it's a lot of difference. So doesn't mean that big unit don't make money. As long as the per square foot is low, they still can make the money out of it. Because why? In CBD especially, they are very PSF sensitive one. In 2002, 2003 per square foot, it's very easy for you to exit. At 2005, you can exit already. 2006, you can exit already. It's still below the 3,000 mark. 3,000 is the so-called sensitive part. Unless your development like Warwick Residences, all this, they are more on the higher end tier. That's why they can price it at discount level. But it's considered still lower, right, in terms of price per square foot wise. So this is something that you all can actually use it. So some of you here, right, if you are not well prepared, right, the agents who are not well prepared eventually, like, will have a little bit of issue because you yourself are not confident in terms of anchoring this particular objection. So I would say that if you can, right, look at some of the development that the sizes are a little bit bigger. Mentally, use that to help you to anchor. The project that I'm talking about, Jennifer, is Beacon at Cantonment Road, opposite Pinnacle at Duxton. This development, the price PSF is low, the size of the unit is high, but every $100 jump, you jump by 100,000. That's how I sell this development versus Icon last time. So I see Icon so small, 500 square feet unit, then eventually I make $100 per square foot, you only make 50,000. This one make 100,000, which one you want? So they choose the low PSF, high profit margin. So I use low PSF, high profit margin to sell. So do not look at it as a negative. I certainly feel that, right, especially CBD projects in the future, right, I think size makes a lot of difference. Because I have one unit at Sky Street, the only size is 380 something square. You want to do Zoom, very tough. You want to do seminar, also tough. You can only sit on the bedside and do the thing. So this is something that you probably can highlight to them. Right? So, but how anything else, Bevan?
Yes, I'm here.
Pinnacle is a brand priced like Gucci and LV, but still in Berlin. Wow, it's cheap, man. But it's still in Berlin. It means, wow, I'm more very cheap. I think Gucci was it for LV, I know. Too cheap, man. Simplified a little bit. Right? Okay, so any other thing that you think that have some justification? If not, I want to show you one video.
What I did was actually to show what are the current available units in District 1, 2, and 7. Just to let them know that, in terms of pricing and positioning, 1 Burnham is still very attractive.
Okay, let me see.
Got it. Okay, so this was one of the information that I did now. So looking at what's available right now in District 7, there are 2-bed, 2-bath right now selling at 2.065, and sizes are slightly smaller. Then you have 2-bed, 1-bath going at 2.065 or so. But over here at 1 Burnham, 2.011. You get a 2-bed plus study, which there's a potential for you to convert that into a 3-bedroom compact. You see, so for 0511 now. So on this loan itself, it brings out certain values, compared to these projects really. Then of course in District 1, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,055, odd shape selling at 2.4. So another at District 1, 2-bed plus study, 1163 square feet with big balconies.
Bevan, the most important thing here is what? Again, we are talking about providing information.
Yeah.
Or are you telling me this information is very important?
Sorry, I didn't know that I'm supposed to do the proper sharing. Okay, I tried to join.
No, Bevan, it's not about that.
Yes.
You see, why I ask you this question here is because if you run through the information but you did not really tell us very clearly, right? So it's just that it's not so important. And I can tell you very simple, most people cannot remember one by looking at this. First, I do not know what projects you're comparing. All right, you're just comparing the different floor plans, which I do not know what you're talking about in terms of the different floor plan that you are looking at. So just based on, is it how you get the information, where do you derive the information, all these are question mark.
Okay.
So you cannot say that you compare what with what, nobody know what you are comparing with. So at the end of the day, to me here is that it's all your own information. I thought these 2 units are same 1 Burnham. It's left and right only. Because it happened to be 0510 and 0511. I don't know, is it different or what?
Okay, what I'm trying to show over here is basically the 2 layouts are 2-bed, 1-bath. So I was trying to show which one do you think is a preferred layout. You see, so this is something that I'm just using it to compare with the surrounding developments in District 7, 1, and 2.
Remember, for those people who are doing presentation online via Zoom, you must get used to using Annotate. You must get used to using your iPad 10. If not, you are just talking, right? You see, when the customer normally when we hear things, when we listen to the person, we cannot be you see, when you are explaining, actually I don't know what you are explaining. So when you see, sometimes for all those people who are doing presentation, you must remember one thing: your iPad pen is very important. If not, you must use Annotate. You must get used to it. If not, at the end of the day here, right, I do not know what you're trying to tell me, and I tell you what will I do? When I cannot see what you are telling me, my ear will not listen to you, my eyes will go and see myself, then am I focusing on you or am I focusing on the slides? You lost a person in terms of the interest because you are focusing on talking, but not connecting. Then again, it's gone. Same thing, whether you are talking to agents or talking to consumer, it's still the same thing. When the agent don't get what they want to listen, again, they will forget and they will not bother. And at the end of the day, you lose out information because why? By right, the agent can close the deal one. But because they are not listening to you, you lost a chance. Then it becomes meaningless to do the whole process. Most important is very important. We must connect. We must connect. Especially to all the agents, you all remember, Die also must connect one, must write my school one. You see how I do my seminar, 1去8招 one I write. But important is what? You must make them see it. You see, look at this. Then the people are clear. If not better, you just talk, don't value one. Then better don't talk. Waste time.
Okay, got it.
Okay, done already. I thought you wanted to talk finish and never know what. Okay, so
Sorry, you carry on.
Okay, now let me share with you another video that's one of our agents has done it. I want you to see how this particular person who has done the video, and I help them to correct the way they speak. And of course, for those people who are now with us here, I will work with them to polish up all the necessary objections. I hope that you all can join them on this coming Thursday, 3 p.m. to understand more in detail of how to handle the different objection, which I think is very good objection that you should learn. All right. So anyway, they will be there to run through, and I will work with them to build up all the necessary changes to improve on that, so that you all can get the best of the work in Wednesday. All right. So now let me just go through this particular. Let me see here. Let me run through this video for you to see. Okay, this is done by one of our agents here. So basically, I refer to let you see this video how it's being done.
Do you know that in just one bus stop difference, you can potentially save up to 150,000? And what does this 150,000 means to you? Hi everyone, my name is Justin. I'll be doing a series of video to share with you 5 critical factors on how to select the right property. Today, I'll be touching on location.
Okay, before I let you see finish, I want all of you to think through, look through. If you are the consumer out there looking at this video, what do you see? For example, today you scroll your Facebook, you scroll your Instagram or whatever, and you saw this video, and you are the consumer there. How do you feel this video? I want all of you to think through.
I'll be using 2 different developments within the same location, and let's check out how are the 2 developments doing in terms of their transaction. So today, I'll be touching on this location in Clementi and using these 2 developments, Tri-Link and Clement Canopy. Let's take a look at their transaction in these 2 developments. So as you can see, based on the data that I've drawn up from square foot, and I use the size between 700 to 800 square feet, and these are the profit between these 2 developments. So the Clement Canopy owner, being further away from MRT, bought similar size unit, lower price, lower down payment, even lower stamp duty, but on the other hand, they have a higher profit, higher of return investment. Let's take a look at another example. So we are looking at Redhill MRT, and I'm using these 2 developments, Alex Residence as well as Principal Garden. As you can see, based on the location, Principal Garden is slightly further away from MRT. Let's take a look at their data. So in terms of data-wise, Alex Residence, these are the profit, and these are the profit in Principal Garden. It has similar traits as per what we've seen in the Clementi area. Principal Garden being further away from MRT. In terms of the transaction, the owners in Principal Garden are having a higher return, lower down payment, lower upfront stamp duty, and end of the day, their return on investment is even higher than the one that we assume closer to MRT, we are having a better return. So, question today, is it true that paying a premium for property that is closer to MRT, my next buyer will also be willing to pay me that premium? So location is definitely one of the important factors that we need to consider when buying a property. But do you know how to select the right property with the right price in the right location? In my next few series of my video, I'll be sharing with you different touch points on the critical factors to look out for when choosing for right property. Alright, please stay tuned to my next few video and I'll be uploading my video very, very soon. Alright, my name is Justin and I hope to see you soon. Take care, stay safe, bye-bye.
Right, so how do you feel? Anybody can share with us your comments? Good, short and sweet. Anything that is missing out a little bit here and there? Look forward. I think he cut his video. No eye contact. He's reading the script. Actually, the overall video actually is quite good. The overall, but definitely there's a few points that can be improved. If you ask me, so the few points that I'm looking at here is what. First, he addressed the problem, but the problem is not very clear. To be honest, the initial phase, actually the problem here is that he's trying to do what? Is location the most important? So you see, like now Kevin say, right, sorry, I'm quite confused. Is he trying to say nearer to MRT is good or bad? Exactly. This is the part that is a little bit missing. Because why? He did not address. For example, how will I do it? How will I do it? Remember, to every one of you here who are listening, because why we are in a digital world now. We are moving towards the digital world. Whether you are talking to a computer in front of you, or you're talking to a video, or you're talking to a camera, the whole thing is still the same. You just have to imagine in front of you is a lot of people. In front of you, your customer is just there. The camera is actually your customer. I want all of you to think, when you are taking a video in front of you, when you're talking Zoom in front of a person, or you're doing a recording, please remember, you're talking to someone. You are talking to someone, not talking to a video. Because when you're talking to the video, you realize one thing, you never connect. You just blah, da, 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 talk and talk and talk, right? But did you actually connect with the customer? Actually, no. I find that the video lack of connecting. Lack of connecting in such a way that to make people feel that, hey, I want to listen to you. For example, what is the big, one of the things that, because he was saying that I have a series of all these different video that I'm going to talk about, right? So how do I start off? I say, I actually have done a lot of different videos in the market. And I realized there's a lot of questions and problems that most consumers are a little bit concerned. And today, my purpose of sharing this video is because why? One of the biggest problems here is that people are asking me, Kelvin, is location a very important criteria when it comes to selecting a property to buy or not? You need to address the what? The problem first. Because only when you address the problem, right, then they will know what to expect subsequently. So he's trying to show you, right? Inside there is a how function, right? He's using Trilink and Clementi Canopy, using Principal Garden and Alex Residences. And Principal Garden by right is further from MRT station away, right? But actually the profit margin is higher. So he's trying to show you one thing. So is location the most important? Actually, it's not. Important is what? Actually, the pricing. There's one more thing. He did not actually address what? You see, my friend, a lot of people think that location is the number one factor. But didn't realize that, right? Actually, the 1 year MRT does not make so much money. Can you imagine, Mr. Buyer, can you imagine all of you here, if you're watching my video now, you think that by selecting a property that is next to an MRT, you will make the most out of it? Sorry, look at what I've shown you. Nope. Further away, actually make more money than those that is beside the MRT. Why is it so? And that's the reason why, of course, in this video, it's too short for me to explain to you. If I want to explain to you, it probably take me 2 hours to do that, right? So for those people who really want to find out, because you maybe wanted to buy a property, for those who are watching now, don't you want to find out what are the criteria required before you buy a property? Drop me a text, definitely. I would want to what? Connect with you and explain to you how does it work. What are the criteria? What are the 5 criteria that you must look out for when selecting a property to buy? So you must create eventually a home. But you see, you created a problem, you created a how function, how he explained to you, right? But you did not actually draw people to what? I want to look for you because why? Can you imagine? You see, my friend, people say buy next to MRT station will sure make money. No. But you see, look at the numbers. Further MRT make 200,000. Nearer MRT make 60,000. Why is it so? So, can you imagine? For those who are looking at my video now, what happens if you select the wrong one? This is called fear. Right? We have greed, we have fear. So important is what? Important, there is few things to look at. Timing, right entry price. How do we determine the right pricing? Or whatever it is, you must, I've not prepared all these things up. But in my brain, must I have all this? Have. So then your video become what? More attractive. So I also share with him one thing. Next time, right, when you're doing video, next time, right, please don't say, I'm using square foot. No. You don't need to say I'm using a third-party software. You just say that I've done my research. It's good enough. Don't need to say I produce or what to do. No need. You just say that I've done my research. Because why? Why do you need to say I've done my research? The reason why is because it shows your status. I'm someone who is very focused on research one. Because why? At the end of the day, I do not want to give impression to people I'm selling property based on emotion. That's the last thing. I think for me, I want to look at what? Facts. And that's why I focus a lot on what? Research. Research. So for those buyers who are interested in knowing all the facts, right, you can also call me to give you more updates in terms of numbers. So you are trying to capture what kind of people? Capture people who are looking at facts. And that is important, right? So I think there's one that I did in my Singapore property show. I talk about emotion versus logic, which is more important. So that is also a good way to what? To go. So the other thing that you see, the other point is what? Remember, there's one more point that he says. Let me show you. Okay.
Garden. It has similar traits as per what we see in the Clementi area. Principal Garden being further away from MRT. In terms of the transaction, the owners in Principal Garden are having a higher return, lower down payment, lower upfront stamp duty, and end of the day, their return on investment is even higher than the one that we assume closer to MRT, they are having a better return. So,
okay, now you see, come to this point, what must you do first? Come to this point, right? He continued his statement. But to me, I will not continue this way. I will say what? Now, to all those people who are watching me in this video now, do you understand why am I telling you all this? Can you imagine yourself, you think that, can you imagine, you are the owner who bought Alex Residences. and you only make $68,000. Versus someone who actually bought Principal Garden, which is your friend who bought $247,000 profit. Which one would you want to be in? Do you want to be in Alex or do you want to be in Principal? So you have to make the right choice and the right decision based on what? Not emotion, but facts. And this is what I'm always good in, because what I do a lot what? I do a lot of research. That's the reason why for those people who really look, for those people who look for me, right, is because why? They want to know numbers before making a decision. And that is what I'm good in. And do you realize that when you are doing video, you are actually selling who? You're not selling the slide, You're selling Goyo yourself, But you don't need to say, hey, I'm very good, You don't need. You say that I do a lot of research. So you see, what am I trying to tell everybody? I'm trying to let everybody understand that this is not just a video. When you're talking to consumer, when you're sitting down presenting to your customer, right? Remember, just as Bevan just now this afternoon when he started off, right? He showed you he ran through information with you. But are you engaging? Actually not, right? Same thing, whether you are doing video or you are doing a one-to-one presentation, remember, you are not talking about the slide alone. The slide got no use one. If you never make them feel that, wow, actually Kelvin, you know a lot of things. You see things in a different angle, right? So how do you see it? No, that's why you show me, right? How it's being done. So people will see what? See a different angle of you. Actually, when you're doing video, when you're doing presentation, the important is not the content. The content is just to help you. But you must make the content what? Wow, Kelvin, you are very good in all these things. If you never make them feel that you are someone different compared to others, right? They will always look for another person which is not you. So that is the reason why I urge every one of you, why some of you will do video and let me see. Because I'm not good 100%, but definitely I know where to capture because of my domain knowledge, because of what I'm strong in. I know where to bring in the hook, bring in the content and make them feel that, So if you can connect better, I think it's good. I also share with you one thing. You have prepared your speech too well, too good, no fault one, too smooth. Today, honestly, too smooth is not good. That means it's all fake. How can we do presentation and become so smooth one, vocaling one? Cannot be one. Cannot be one. It's okay not to be smooth. Have fun, just how I say, you see, body language is important or not. So can you imagine, you see my body, my head, right? But don't keep on like that. That is no good. Once in a while, actually when I'm trying to connect with you, my head actually move forward. Can you imagine if you're looking at me now, what do you see? Like that. The purpose is what? You make them connect with you. So I think it's very important in my opinion, right? Because that's why every time I do presentation, I prefer to stand, because I prefer from far, I can walk in, I can move back. So that I can create that language and can create that effect. I said, hey, can you imagine? You are the one of them who select the wrong. So you must make people feel what? Lousy. You don't need to make him lousy. I'm trying to say that, can you imagine you choose the wrong one? Actually, you're connecting to who? That person. Whoever is watching will know whether he is the person or not. That's what you want to do. But you're just running through information, no pain one. You never poke him, you never feel the pain at all. You must pinch him, then you feel the pain. Right? So this is how presentation is done, right? If you want to do video or whatever, actually I'm training you guys not about just video. Actually, I'm actually trying to share with you how you deliver your customer. Especially now moving forward, digital world, Zoom world, everything is all talking to the screen. I'm happy that this pandemic has come and also trained me to speak, trained me to get used to talking to the stupid screen, right? But no choice. The reach out can be faster. So this is something that I hope all of you can get what I'm trying to share with all of you here, right? So these are some of the things that just now one of this video. The next one I will show you another video. How people have done it. If you guys have done any video, if you need any clarification, if you need anything, My purpose is not so much about just running through the video. My purpose here is to help you to improve your anchoring and delivery. Then I will voice record for you to see. But don't give me 10 minutes video. Cannot see finish. 2 to 3 minutes is good enough. 2 to 3 minutes. Don't bother about people say your language is lousy. Like my daughter always like to say, Kelvin, hey, but your English always not fluent one. It's best not to be fluent. Really. Because sometimes you ask your wife lah, ask who lah, then they say, your English like not very good there. Actually, it's okay one. Really. Too fluent is no good. Oh, then soon I agree what sure then soon. Right? Then soon xiu xiang. Pattern, right? I mean, to me, most important, the person must receive it. So this is something that I would like to work on, and I mean, this is how I see it. Okay, anybody not clear? Boost up my confidence. Yeah. Never mind one. Don't talk. Don't bother lah. Who care? Important is the customer must get connected. The rest will not. Right? You can very good English also use. All right, so my friend, this is something just want to be, just be yourself, really. Speak from your heart. Speak about how you feel. That's why you need to do some research, do some work. Then I think it will help you a lot. All right. Any questions so far? Bevan and Vanessa, thank you so much for working with me today. It's not easy. I can understand Vanessa, also not easy, very stressful as well. Maybe you are well prepared, but come to here, suddenly not well prepared. It's very normal. It's very normal, right? You deal with a person. I can understand this because why? Last time I also like that. So it's not easy. But because I keep training myself, it become, I improve along the way. So this is how I see. So I always believe, to all my people here, right? I always believe one thing, no, we can all improve. We can all be better off. It's about practicing, that's all. So those who dare to challenge themselves and come here and practice with me, let's learn together. As I mentioned, English not so good to work with you is okay one. All right, so this is something I just want to take this time to share with you here. Hopefully this coming Wednesday, Thursday, come and join them. I will work with them again to fine tune all the 10 different objection handling. They will work with me to come out something that is solid and good that you all can use it subsequently for all your presentation, including this one Vietnam as well. And so that you are all well taken care of in terms of your objection handling. All right. Any other questions for me? If not, thank you so much, Bevan and Vanessa. We will see you very soon again.
Boss, can I ask a question?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, June.
Yeah. Pardon me, I may be slow at understanding. Just now you said that the interest will be the same. I have two questions. I thought when we pay mortgage monthly, the portion of the interest will be bigger first until the end of our mortgage period. Then the interest will be lower and the principal portion will be bigger. So are you referring to the fact that on the average the interest will still be the same? Then my second question is that over time the bank will also adjust the interest such that they will make the customer pay higher interest. So am I correct to understand it that way?
Sure.
So can you help me to understand why you say that interest is the same? Thanks.
The second one is for sure. As the interest rate goes up, of course, naturally, you need to pay a little bit more in terms of the interest. Definitely one. But what am I trying to say here? That the interest is whether 25 years or 30 years, right? There's not much of difference here because why? The interest is based on your loan amount. Your loan amount is fixed one. It's just that the installment is higher because of the tenor that is different. Interest is based on 0.5 or 1% of whatever loan amount. So as
it makes sense.
As the amount is the same, right? The interest amount is sure same one.
Yeah.
The total mortgage is higher because of lower tenor.
Okay, understand. From that angle, I understand. Then back to Bevan's example, he used a 7,000 mortgage. So if the rental is only about 5,000, then monthly the owner have to fork out cash to force save himself, this amount. So in other words, the cash flow is also affected in that sense, you see. Although it will come back to you eventually.
For sure. Definitely.
Okay.
That's why eventually, right, we have to work according to what our customers are comfortable with.
Yes, agree.
But important is that I realize a lot of agents here, right, they don't think about, just like the day I was doing my PSD trading, right, the husband and wife got $12,000 income add up together, 12 to 13,000. And they want to buy a 4-bedroom, the installment is $6,000. So I asked Sabrina, are you comfortable or not? Sabrina said, good, okay, because you're an agent, right? But I said, if you are the the husband and wife earn 12,000, are you comfortable to pay $6,000 installment? You only there with $6,000 to survive. You dare or not? They're not. So we all must be sensitive to who? To our clients, right? If you're not sensitive to our client, definitely cannot. Because why? Anyone who earns $12,000, $13,000, come out $6,000 to pay a house, right? Straight away kanchiong liao ma. Sure one. The minds, when they see you see, human being mind is very simple one. Oh, I only earn $12,000. I need to come $6,000. No, cannot. So this way of presentation is wrong. Sure wrong one. The customer won't ask you anything. The customer straight away go to the conclusion. I cannot afford. That's why I told Bevan, the case study, right? Just now, why bother to show the 7,000 one? You show the $7,000 one, right? And versus the 5,000 one, right? What's the difference? The 7,000 you already scared people off already, right? And you use a rental income of $5,000, right? Straight away the top up is a lot. That's why you see June got reaction, ma. Do you realize that, Bevan?
Yes.
So sometimes when you see, not that we want to hide or anything, no. This is human being. It's a subconscious that when people feel very uncomfortable when they see big numbers. So as an agent first, right, we always show small numbers first. Then based on the age, right, then we look at whatever that is required, whatever the best. But first you must put them to be comfortable first, ma. Because if they are not comfortable, right, whatever you talk also won't be comfortable one, because their mind already prejudged. Wow, $7,000 beside lah. That's why June faced the problem. 7,000 straight away. He said, wow.
Yes, it actually scared me.
Because negative cash flow and few words some more. Wow, top up here, top up there. Wow, that is for her lah, right? But of course, some customers who are at the rich one, then they feel different. But the general impression is important. We always want to take care of the 80%, which is majority of the people who have fear one. The 20% no fear one, you give them 8,000, 9,000 also like that, because why? Them okay one. But you give the majority of the people, right? And one very important just now, if you hear all my presentation, I always talk about what? No. I say always the top 10% will take action. The top 10% of the rich people out there will always choose to take action. Whereas the 90% of the people would never want what? Fear. So, to be able to reach them, we must follow who? The 10%. That is the true one. Right? And they first look at the numbers. Does it make sense? If it makes sense, we go. If not make sense, so this is what I'm trying to say, which is what June has pointed out as well, which is very important. So as an agent, we must be sensitive to someone's income. Don't just blind say, oh, you can afford this, you can. But deep inside their heart, they don't know, which is normal. Right, June, thank you so much for pointing out this so-called numbers so that the rest of people can understand as well.
Sorry, another technical question. I'm still learning about Zoom. Besides using the iPad pen, how do we bring out the laser pointer? Is it only on desktop version?
Yeah, desktop version, because you're using the annotate.
Okay, but which command? Is it the pen or spotlight?
I do not know. I only use iPad.
Okay, never mind. I'll Google it.
Thank you. I use the pen. I don't like to use the annotate, that one. Because you use computer to move.
Yes, very rigid. Yeah.
It's not it's legit. It's not fluent.
Okay, Eric, I will PM you. Thank you. I saw your message. Thanks.
So when you don't use your this pen, you are not in full control. When I do presentation, I like to be in full control. I don't like to be not in control, because when I'm not in control, my speech will not be fluent. Then you at your impact of speech is not strong. That's
Yes. In the intronium, for those people who do not know, like me, for Bevan, you can use your mouse to mouse over, or use your mouse to navigate. Because just now when you talk about the comparison of the floor plan, I was totally lost because there's a lot of information on that slide. You see, so if you use the mouse to move about, of course you engage your audience and say, "Can you see my mouse?"
You don't have mouse.
I think,
You don't have mouse.
I mean your
Mouse. You only have a mouse.
no your mouse, your laptop, or rather, yeah. I don't know what you zoom over lah. Usually I will use my mouse and my customer will be able to see my mouse. Yeah. Just a feedback. I don't know whether it's helpful for the rest.
Oh,
Thanks.
definitely, because because they never use, they need to use the pen, or if they need to use that to do so. Is floor plan really important? Depends on your objective. I cannot say not important, because sometimes it is really important. Depends on what you are trying to compare with. Yeah. I think for those people who are, for example, taggers, they are sometimes, to me, it doesn't bother me. But sometimes it will bother people who buy for homestay. Yeah. So I think floor plans still make a lot of difference, especially we are talking about in future. If let's say, for example, Alex asked this question, right? Is floor plan really important? If you ask me honestly, it's good to know. Why? Because it makes you feel that, right, you are someone who go into detail, someone who is very detailed person and customer like. Just like Gaynor, right? Actually, Gaynor did a presentation before when comparing Trilink floor plan and comparing Park Clementi's floor plan. And the way he presented it, right, was actually very good, because he makes us really see the differences in terms of the floor plan. And that will make me feel that, wow, I can be felt very assured because I have an agent who are very detailed as a person to look at small little things here and there, which I think is important to me. All right, Alex, this is how I look at it. Okay, so anybody else has any question? All right, if not, thank you so much for joining me. I have 5 o'clock for another meeting to run already.